Welcome to the Fit Dad Nation podcast, forging strong fathers and raising a stronger generation. It's time to get up or shut up with your host, Steve Roy.
Hey guys, Steve Roy here, host of the Fit Dad Nation podcast. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you listening. Before I get into the episode, if you're a dad and you're listening to this show right now, there's probably a good chance you're not happy with some aspect of your health, fitness, body, your eating habits, your energy, your confidence, your mojo, whatever. If that's the case, there's a good chance something's missing. My experience in doing this for a very long time is that oftentimes we're lacking accountability, we're lacking motivation, and we're lacking being part of something bigger than ourselves. It's very hard to do this on our own. We have busy lives. We have a million things to do. There's never enough time. There's never enough energy. Something has to give. And oftentimes, we sacrifice our own well-being for the sake of everybody and everything else. It's just what we do. I'm telling you right now, that doesn't work. I did it for many, many years. When I chose to take back my life, and I started by taking back my health, my fitness, everything in my life improved. And I'm telling you, just from years of doing this with dads, working with dads exclusively, you have to take care of yourself first. You have to take care of yourself first. You really do. Because if you're not, your life, you're not living your life the best way possible. And if you can't take care of yourself first, I'm going to tell you that you can't take care of your family the best way possible. It's a hard truth. Some people don't like to hear it. That's just what it is. What we've built in the Fit Dad Nation Inner Circle helps with that. It helps with that tribe. It helps with the daily accountability. It helps being part of something bigger than yourself. And it's a program that I'm very proud of. And you can find more about that program out at fitdadnation.com/inner circle. So what I wanted to talk about today, I don't really have a specific way to say this, but basically, we as dads are under a constant bombardment of shit to do, jobs, mortgages, bills, kids, dogs, sports, everything, right? And inevitably, we come across periods of time, sometimes they're weeks, sometimes they're months, sometimes they're years, and even decades, that we take the focus off of our health and fitness and we put it on other things, and our health, our wellness goes to shit. And what I want to talk about today is not here to beat you up and say, suck it up, get to it, because, that's really not going to help you. What I am going to tell you is, I have been fitness coaching, training for 23 years now. In 1997, I started it. Last 5 years, I've worked with dads exclusively, Fit Dad Nation. And I'm not any type of fitness guru. I don't spend a lot of time working out. My life doesn't revolve around my meals. I'm just a regular dad. I have 2 daughters. I have a business here. We're pretty active. We do a lot of outdoor stuff. But yeah, my life isn't dedicated and focused around trying to be as fit and healthy as possible. I'm a regular dude with a regular life, lots of responsibilities, plenty of financial obligations like all of you. Yet, I try to, and I do my best to remain fit and healthy and stay lean and strong. Not only because my job depends on it, but because I'm 49 years old and I'm terrified of getting, fat and weak and tired and lazy and slouched and moving poorly, getting some disease I could have possibly prevented by not taking care of myself. So, yeah, those things scare me. And so I want to run through a quick timeline. And so, if you're listening to this, you're probably in your 30s or 40s, maybe even in your 50s. And so, things are different. Back when we were in our 20s and sometimes maybe even into our 30s, we could work out all, for 2 hours a day. We could work out for 4 hours a day, right? It was easy. It's easy back then. I remember just being able to punish my body. I could eat whatever I wanted, and I did. Back when I was in my early and mid-20s, and I stayed, 6 or 7% body fat. I could stay all day in the gym. I didn't get sore. I didn't even stretch back then. I think most of us didn't. And that's just what it was, right? We got a lot of hormones going through us. We can really we don't have those 20 plus years of abuse and wear and tear in our bodies that we have now, where now we start feeling everything. We're starting to sag. We're starting to get sore in certain places. Our posture sucks, right? And that's just years, decades of neglect, more or less, for a lot of us. And I've even noticed plenty of signs in my own body. Most of us have old injuries, nagging things. It just comes with age for the most part. So when we're younger, we can do anything we want, right? So that was me. That was probably most of you. And in 2002, I decided that I had turned 30 not long before, and I decided, you know what? I need to get a real job. I need a real career. And so I left I was training, and I was, waiting and bartending at restaurants across the different, I lived in a lot of different places over the course of my 20s and 30s. And so I said, I need a real career. So I ended up, through a friend of a friend of a friend, I got hooked up at a bank as a junior financial advisor for a guy who came to become a very good friend of mine. He gave me an opportunity because I had no experience in the finance game. I didn't know shit about the stock market, nothing. But he gave me a shot. I started my ass off for the Series 7, got all my licenses, did everything I needed to do, bought a couple of suits, and went to work. And sure enough, within 6 months, I had put on 15 pounds of fat because I was sitting on my ass all day instead of moving. And that started a cycle that's lasted to this day where, I spent 11 and a half years sitting in a desk job. And so, I would put on a bunch of weight, feel lousy, get stuck in the, I have meetings every day and stress and, just like everybody else, I had excuses and I didn't take care of myself. When I was married, I didn't take care of myself. I shared that story before. I just was kind of a skinny fat guy. I really didn't have much muscle. I definitely had the dad bod that you see all over the internet. And I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good about myself. I had no energy. My confidence was probably the biggest thing. I just didn't have much confidence. And so, after my divorce and separation back in 2013, and I've shared this story before, but things got much worse. Being away from my girls, my health fell apart, and I chose to drown my sorrows in sugar and fast food. Not drugs or alcohol, but crappy stuff nonetheless. And so of course my health, my energy, my body, everything rebelled, and I felt like a piece of fucking shit. And that's to be expected. And I was in a pretty crappy place for quite a while. And obviously that comes with the territory for the most part when you're divorced, when you're away from your kids. This is a huge life change, maybe the most stressful of all life changes, period. It was rough. And so my health went to shit. And then back in 2014, about a year later, I decided that I was going to get back after it. I took a job. I quit my career, went to go run a small gym, and I got into sick shape. And that lasted about 5 or 6 months. And I decided that it was time to branch out and start an online business, which I did, and the Fit Dad Nation was born. And so, of course, at that point, I'm in good shape. And then comes another life event, custody battle for the girls, which involves a shitload of stress, more than, you can imagine if you've never been through that terrible feeling. And that lasted maybe a year of going back and forth, and ended up in court, and it was a mess. And so very stressful. So what suffered? My sleep, number one. I was a mess. I didn't sleep well at all. Of course, that affected my energy, then my workouts, then my motivation, my diet. All of that just rolled into one, right? And of course, what happens? Same thing, right? Body starts getting soft, energy goes to crap, and I'm back in that cycle. And so I've done that, a few times. And then I got back on the wagon. We did a challenge in our Inner Circle program, and it was a 45-day challenge. I crushed it. I lost like 15 or 16 pounds of, mostly fat. I was feeling really good. And then this COVID shit hit and everything got shut down. My routine was thrown way off, and I let it suck me down. And so I put on, I think, 20 pounds. I felt terrible. I mean, I was up actually to 200 pounds, which is, I'm not a big guy. I'm about 6 feet, but I've always been pretty thin. So 200 pounds on me was a lot, and I felt horrible. And, so it took another recommitment. and getting back after it. And now, that's kind of where I'm at now, is I'm struggling, with a few different things. So my point was sharing the kind of the ups and downs with all this, and I could go on, but it's probably going to be boring for you to keep listening to me share stories about myself. The point is, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be excuses to get off track. It's just what life is, right? We're never going to be always on. It's just unless you're David Goggins or someone like Jocko, who has that elite mindset where nothing gets you off track. You're just super, super laser focused. For the vast, vast majority of us, regular dudes, right, that's not the case, right? It just, I run groups for a living, and I see hundreds of dads throughout the day posting, and there's almost always somebody that has something that gets in the way, whether it's an injury, someone gets sick, someone that's close to them dies, they lose their job, they're moving. There's always something. And then it's the conversation again of you've just lost your momentum, and now you've lost motivation, and now you've got to start all over again. So again, I want to make sure that you understand this is part of life, and you shouldn't beat yourself up for having these struggles, for having problems, for having setbacks. And you're going to think sometimes that you're a failure, right? Every one of us is going to feel like a fuck up at some point. It's just part of what we go through. And I'll tell you that it's really about taking a look at that and realizing that's a temporary thing, right? And then doing the work despite how you feel, right? Because we're not failures unless we totally give up, right? That's the only way really to be a failure, is if you say, fuck it, I quit. I'm never going to be thin. I'm never going to lose this gut. I'm always going to be the fat guy. No, it's the only way that happens is if you say, you know what, that's it. I give up. I'm done. I'm just going to continue eating Burger King every day. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. There isn't a guy alive or a guy that I've ever met that says I'm happy being overweight and tired and feeling shitty and not wanting to take my shirt off because I'm embarrassed of my man boobies. Right? Nobody wants that. And so, you're going to have to suck it up ultimately. But please recognize this is a very, very common thing. It happens to everybody. But yes, you do have to get back on the horse. You do have to get back after it. Okay? It's one of the reasons that we have to constantly challenge ourselves. We have to constantly get out of our comfort zones, right? You have to continually try to get one day better in some aspect, or you're going backwards, right? You're either getting better or you're getting worse. One of the main reasons that we do challenges every month in our Inner Circle program, it's because of the accountability, and it's to give guys something to look forward to, and it's to get them back on track, and it's to push them, right? Small stuff. Post a picture of yourself with your shirt off to show your before and afters, right? Guys, a lot of guys hate doing that. It's very uncomfortable. They don't want to do that. I get it. But it pushes you out of the comfort zone. Taking a cold shower sucks. There's a few guys that like it. I don't like them, but it pushes you out of your comfort zone, and yes, there are health benefits to that, right? It's all about doing stuff like that, small stuff, okay? And the goal for me as a coach and a dad is to help guys get committed and really dig in and find the reason why it's so important for them to be fit and healthy, right? Or not. If it's not, it's not. I'm not here to challenge you and change your thinking and say, you know what, you need to do this, because it's a personal thing. If you're not mentally ready to take on things that you need to take on to change, it's not going to happen, no matter how much rah-rah I give you, how much motivation, how many programs I can put together, the diet, all that stuff doesn't mean anything unless you are mentally ready to make the change. Yeah? And then once you're ready, yes, we can get after it. But then, even then, right, you're ready. You've got everything lined up. You're mentally ready. You're fired up. You just watched Rocky 3 again. You're fired up, and then something happens, right? Car breaks down. It's going to cost you $1,000 to fix. You're like, fuck, I don't have $1,000. And then the stress goes, fuck, I'm just going to stop at McDonald's on the way. I'm just so pissed off. Where am I going to get the money? And that's where it starts. And so that's what you have to recognize is all of those things that pop up. And I get them not every day, but almost. There's something pop up. And I'm very much controlled by my emotions, so I have to fight that every day. When I'm feeling a certain way, I'm feeling like if I'm feeling very upset about being away from my kids, It affects my mood, which affects my motivation, which affects me even wanting to work out. If I do work out, maybe it's not a good workout. Maybe sometimes I won't even work out. So I have to constantly battle those things and say, it doesn't matter how I feel. I have to put in the work, right? Because my goal, of being healthy and living a long, healthy life for me and my family is extremely important at the top of my list, right? Because it doesn't matter if your health falls to shit and it's too late. There's just nothing you can do about it. And one day, guys, it will be too late. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what to tell you, because the thought of that terrifies me, because for the most part, a lot of what happens to our bodies and our health are things well within our control. And our diets are at the very top of the list of, we are what we eat. We've all heard that. It's extremely true. Problem is, 40% of the U.S. or more is overweight. A good part of that obese, right? And we're not getting thinner. We're getting fatter by the year. Our kids are getting fatter, and it's a mess. It's up to us to fix it, right? It's on you. You're gonna have to make that decision every single day, and that's what it really boils down to. If being around for your family, living a high quality of life, being able to play with your kids, chase them, not tire out after 30 seconds, right? Taking your shirt off at the beach and actually feeling proud of your body, having your wife look at you and say, man, you look amazing. I haven't seen you look this good in 15 years, right? If those things don't do it for you, you're listening to the wrong show. There's a million other shows out there. I'm interested in helping guys that see that as an important step, an important part of their life. Doesn't mean you have to be rah-rah, ready to go, ready to crush it tomorrow, but you have to have the desire to have those things. And let's, honestly, if you're listening to this, there's probably a very, very strong chance that you want all of those things I just mentioned, and you want to work for them. You either just don't know how, you don't know how to get started. You may not have the tools. You may not have the motivation. You may not have the support, which is huge, right? Everything else can just be qualified, away, because you don't need money. You don't need much time. You don't need much. You just have to have the desire to do it, a little bit of structure, and support goes a long way as well. So, that's kind of my share for today. And what I want you to take away from this is, please don't quit because you think shit's too hard, or you can't do it, or it's too expensive to eat healthy, or you don't know how to do it. There's always a way, and I really try to do my best when guys reach out to me to help them as much as I can. So, if you have any questions, if you need anything, you can always hit me up an email, steve@fitdeadnation.com. We're getting ready to roll out a new challenge as well. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to start talking about it in some of our groups. We have a free private Facebook group. It's called the Fit Dad Base Camp. Go ahead and Google that, and you'll find it. We can apply to join. I'm going to start talking about it because, I've really made most of my progress, at least in the last 5 years, when I'm part of something bigger than myself. Like I said, we run challenges every month in the Inner Circle, and that's our paid program. And most of the time, I'm not doing it with my guys. I have my own programs. I do my own thing. I like train a bunch of different ways. And so when I do my challenges with my guys, I'm more engaged, and I've noticed that it does make a difference for me too, being accountable to the guys. Because when if I commit to something, part of something like this with them, yeah, of course, it's extremely important that I stick to it. I mean, how can I expect anyone to stick to something if I can't? And so this challenge coming up, it's going to be a tough one, and it's going to be a long one, and it's going to be a struggle, but at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it, because it's going to push much harder than probably I've pushed in a long time. And so I'm excited about that. So stay tuned. I'll actually be doing a show on this challenge next week. I'm going to have a special guest on with me, so look for that. And as always, find me on social, the Fit Dad Nation. Any questions, hit me up, guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, if you want more information, check out the Fit Dad Basecamp group on Facebook. And don't forget to stop by fitdadnation.com. Until next time, keep kicking ass and taking the next step. You can do this, Dad.